Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is December 9th, 2020, and this is episode 151. Today we're looking at Venom, number 31 by Marvel. It's a $3.99 comic, and even though it's an issue 31, I like to think of this as maybe an issue 1 because it's linked in with the King in Black, and it's the first Venom that I know of that's a standalone within this King of Black. And it also melds right into King of Black. King of Black, I should say King in Black. We reviewed that a couple issues ago or last week, and just want to say that one had kind of like all the Marvel characters in it, whereas this particular one, is strictly Venom, which is his symbiote skin, is what Null is going after here. So we get this nice cover, nice V cover shade. You get the wings. There's a lot going on. And this pretty much does happen in the book. It actually happened at the end of King in Black as well. So there's kind of this transition that we're seeing in this. This is a Donny Cates written book. And I know I've got some issues with Donny Cates because either I really like his stuff or I just think it's kind of okay. And when I think it's just kind of okay, and this goes with some of the other Marvel comics that I have reviewed in the past, I get some dislikes. I don't get a lot of views, but I'll get a disliker here. And that's the only comics that I get dislikes on that I review is when I maybe get a little harsher on Donny Cates or the Thor character or Immortal Hulk. But other than that, everybody seems to be okay with what I'm doing here. So we get a little bit of a review of who exactly Venom is. So that's kind of a nice little tidbit up there. And then we get kind of a short, brief segment on what happened in King in Black. So, and we'll just continue on. The name of this Venom, of course, 32 Seconds is the name of the arc here, or at least this one-off. I'm not sure if it's a one-off or not at this point. I'm sure there'll be a Venom 32 coming up, though. Ivan Coella is the artist, and I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but whoever it is, they did a nice job. And Jesus Bertoff is the colorist. It's a pretty excitingly drawn comic. The action on King in Black was just this big escalation all the way up. It never had a down point. This one actually does have a down point. In fact, it's a physically down point because what we're going to end up seeing is Eddie Brock falling to what would seem to be his death. But first of all, we get this flashback here of Rex Strickland. I'm not quite sure who he is, but he had something to do with the symbiotes or Venom. And he was working with Flash Thompson at the time, who he thought was a great wearer of the symbiote. But with Eddie Brock, he's not so sure. And so what we get is Rex Strickland's video blog about, it's one of those, if you're watching this, I'm already dead. But he's got concerns about Eddie Brock being part of the group that's going to try to take on Null and this army here. He's just not sure if he's the right guy for it. If you recall in King in Black as well, Eddie Brock was able to stow his son Dylan in a kind of a bomb shelter, try to keep him out of this whole symbiote war that's going on, with the Earth becoming completely encapsulated in the symbiote skins. So it takes off, and we see Null here letting go of Eddie Brock. He's taken his symbiote from him, and as just havoc wreaks all along the skies with these dragon gargoyle type things. There's still, I don't know if that guy is shooting or if the news copter, he's using the camera there. Hard to tell here, but Eddie's in Freefall, as you can see here. The art in here is really really nice. I really like it. It's outrageous. It's very physical, and Hulk steps in to stop. No, not really. It's a Universal. Once again, this is littered with ads every couple of pages, unfortunately. But Noel walks off confidently and he's trying to soothe the feelings of the symbiote who has really become attached to Eddie Brock. But Eddie Brock falls and he starts going through, I guess, kind of like time going on, as well as we get these boxes here of the Rex Strickland continuing to do his video log. Now, one thing I like about this comic is we don't get this extensive. Donny Cates has a tendency to put a lot of narration in, and it's more brief in this, and I liked that. There wasn't like 8 panels or eight captions in one scene, and then 5 in another, and then another 5, and then another 7. He's really gotten a lot more economical with the captions, and I think that's a big plus for this. And most of it is just kind of this comic is just following Eddie as he's falling through this I don't know, this hellish sky, and he's trying to make his amends with everyone as he falls. In the meantime, there is a little bit of skirmish. We do see some of the other superheroes briefly, but not enough to really tell what's going on with them. We see the police force trying to hold off these things. Captain America is obviously getting swallowed. Spider-Man is still free at the moment. And you can see this helicopter is just motoring on. I think it's following Eddie Brock, actually, because it shows up again. And then we get this nice hellish scene as it goes down into the city streets, and you can see people just running for their lives while the symbiote is just over everything. And Dylan down below, he's concerned for his father, and he tries contacting him, and actually he starts to transform a bit, but he shakes himself out of it. He does get in contact with Iron Man. Iron Man tells him to stay off the frequency and watch TV, and he watches TV. He sees that must have been a newscopter taking the shot of this. He sees his father. This just happens moments before his father being tossed off the building top, and there's the news helicopter again, which the helicopter actually gets destroyed by one of these gargoyle dragons as Eddie continues to fall all the way down. They're calling him the comeback kid. We don't know if he's going to come back or not, but he falls. And that's pretty much the end of this comic. I'm not going to give you the final spoiler on this, but as you can see, it's just littered with ads. It's just kind of ridiculous the way they're doing this. It is about 20 pages, I'm assuming. This is the next cover that I believe will be for King in Black 2. Not Venom 32, King in Black 2. And here's the checklist. You see Venom 31 right here. This was actually this was Venom 31. So we nailed that one. We got King in Black #1. So I think your best bet, if you just want to follow along with the main story, is King in Black #1, Venom #31. If you want to follow the Venom one, then they have all these side stories with Namor and the Black Cat, Immortal Hulk, and so on, Spider-Woman, and I'm sure there's a few others. So you have the King Black #1, Venom #31, and then looks like in 2 weeks we get King in Black #2, and as you can see, that features all the other superheroes and whatnot in it. And that kind of wraps it up as far as if you want to just stay on the main Venom trail here for King in Black. So, at least for December. So it is a recommend. If you haven't noticed already, I did enjoy it. It was a nice read, very interesting. The art is very exciting, and I will be on for if there is a Marvel 32. I don't know if it's going to fold back into King in Black 2 for his Venom's character here, but I will be back for King Black #2 and Venom 32. So, thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe. I don't expect any dislikes on this one since I said good things about Donny Cates and Marvel. Except for those ads. Get rid of those ads. And we'll see you next time on the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes bidding you adieu.